Okay, so we're now looking at graphing equations in slope-intercept form. So let's first begin by what is slope-intercept form. Well, it's an equation that looks like this: y equals mx plus b. Now, m represents the slope of the line. That's a coefficient in front of the x value, and b is the y-intercept. So y equals mx plus b, where m represents the slope and b represents the y-intercept. So let's look at how we could graph a couple of these. I'm going to go ahead and keep our little y equals mx plus b equation up front. So now we're given some information that the slope equals negative 1/2, and that's a rise over run of -1, let's say, and a run of 2, or it can be a rise of 1 and a -2 run. We'll talk about that more in a moment. And we've got a y-intercept that equals 3. So if I take this information and I write it in an equation in y-intercept form, this becomes y equals -1/2 x plus 3. Where -1/2 is our slope and 3 is our y-intercept. So let's graph this. So if I've got a y, I'm going to start with the y-intercept. So that means that y is equal to 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put a point right here where y equals 3. And now I'm going to use rise over run to calculate the slope. So it's a -1/2. So I can go down 1 and to the right 2. That'll give me a point right there. Or maybe I could go up 1 and to the left 2. Either one of those represents a negative slope of 1/2. And then all I've got to do is connect the line. I'll try to draw a straight line as best I can. Well, I didn't quite hit that third point right here. But that'll give you an idea of how we can graph a line when we know the slope and the y-intercept, and we put it in the equation of y equals mx plus b. Okay, so let's look at another one right quick. Let's keep our little equation up here, y equals mx plus b. Okay, so this time we are given that the slope equals -3, and the y-intercept is -8. All right, so let's take the step of writing this in slope-intercept form. So now I'm going to have y equals, I got a slope, which I'm substituting in for m, of -3x plus, well, no, minus 8. So our y-intercept is at -8, and our slope is -3. So let's get our y-intercept plotted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's -8. Y equals -8. There's our y-intercept. And I've got a slope of -3. Well, I could go down, but I can't go down very much further with the graph I've got. So I'm going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3. But because this is a negative slope on my run, this is the same thing as -3 over 1 or 3 over -1. So we're going to use the 3 over -1. I'm going to go up 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go to the left 1. Okay, there you go. I've got a -3 slope. And I can just connect the 2 points as best I can, not drawing too great of a straight line. Could use a ruler and some graph paper. But there we go. We have graphed an equation, y equals -3x, 3x minus 8. All right, let's keep going. Look at a couple of more in a little bit different form. We're going to stay. I'm going to go back up here right again. I want to make sure I understand that my slope-intercept form is y equals plus b. All right, now this time I'm actually given an equation. And so I've got 3x minus 4y equals 12. But I've got to get it in this form right here. So I want to move, first thing I want to do is I want to move my x's from one side of the equation to the other. And over here, it's a positive 3x, which means when I move it across the equality, I'm going to make it a negative. And so now I've got negative 4y equals negative 3x plus 12. All right, but I got to get y by itself. That means I'm going to have to divide everything by negative 4. So that's going to leave me over here with y equals, well, if I've got negative 3 divided by negative 4, that's just going to give me 3/4 or 3 over 4x. And when I divide 12, positive 12, by negative 4, that's going to leave me with minus 3. So here we go. I've converted that equation, 3x minus 4y equals 12, into a slope-intercept form equation, y equals 3/4 x minus 3. I'm now ready to graph this equation. I go where on my graph where y equals minus 3. Let's say it's right there. Okay, and now I've got a rise and run. I got a rise of positive 3 and a run of positive 4. So I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3. Puts me right on the x-axis, and now I'm going to go to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That represents my slope. Connect the two lines, and I have graphed the equation. I've taken 3x minus 4y equals 12. I've converted it into slope-intercept form, which is y equals 3/4 x minus 3. We plotted the y-intercept. We figured the slope with rise over run. And shazam, we have graphed it. Let's look at one last one before we turn you loose. I got y equals mx plus b. Okay, and now I've got an equation which is minus 2x plus 5y equals 10. So once again, I've got to rewrite this equation to get it in this y equals mx plus b form. So I got a minus 2x over here. I'm going to move, I got a minus 2x right here. I'm going to move it across the equality. And when I move it, it's going to go from a negative 2x to a positive 2x. I should put my y right here. And that's going to leave me with 5y equals 2x plus 10. I got to get y by itself, so I'm going to divide everything by 5. And when I do, I'm going to have y equals 2 over 5, or 2/5 x, plus 2. All right, so what's my y-intercept? Well, my y-intercept is 2. So I'm going to put a point right here. I'm going to plot a point here at y equals 2. And my slope is a rise of 2, a run of 5. All right, so I got a rise of 2. I'm going up 2. I'm going to the right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But how else could I plot that slope? Well, I could go down 2 and to the left 5. That's actually two negatives. That's going down negative 2 on the y-axis. If I go to the left, that's negative 5 on the 5-axis. But a negative divided by a negative gives me a positive. And so I can go down 2, puts me here, to the left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just plot a third point here. Don't have to do that. I just want to show how another way that you can plot the point for slope. And I'm just going to now connect. Well, I didn't connect them too well. But connect the lines, and there's my graph. Okay, other than I've got sloppy lines, I hope you get the idea. Have fun.